until we had the full policy in front of us. We did get the recommendation back from council that the language that we did put in there was approved, but we still wanted the full policy for the group to be able, for the school committee to review before we voted on that. So I'm going to ask for that one again to be held off until the next meeting.
We have it. Was it not?
It is in the
Oh
packet.
my goodness.
It was in the packet. We have it.
Is it in mine? Let me saw the other one. Missed it. Sorry about that. Okay.
No, we don't have it.
All right, so we'll start off with the state ethics and conflict of interest. I think I said at the last meeting, this had two changes. One, to remove the word immediate family members, and the other one was to delete the last sentence of the paragraph, of the last paragraph. Do you want to take the vote on each one?
Yeah, we'll take them one at a time.
Okay. Were there any questions on the state ethic policy? Conflict of interest?
Jeff?
As I said a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, sorry, 2 weeks ago, I'm uncomfortable with the last paragraph. And by the way, in the penultimate paragraph, I think the language should be more like, at no time may any administrator be, I think you need a be responsible to insert the word BE, and for the supervision and/or evaluation of an employee, I assume it's meant to be being directly related to him or her. Otherwise, the language doesn't work. But putting that aside, the last paragraph, even though the law says that school committee cannot be involved in the hiring, firing, management of school employees, so in a sense, this whole paragraph is probably not necessary. Nevertheless, we're talking about the appearance of any possible conflict. So I can live with this, but I think we should delete the word administrator from that first sentence, because that's really covered in the penultimate paragraph, which means there you can't have supervision and evaluation involving anybody directly related to the administrator. So I just think it's inappropriate for a principal of one school to not be able to have a family member in another school where the whole line of supervision is entirely different. So that's a long way of saying I would like to delete or administrator from the final paragraph.
Are you making an amendment?
I'm proposing an amendment, yes.
You've heard the amendment to delete the word administrator in the last paragraph. Certainly we have the right to do that. Is there a second to Mr. Sweat's amendment?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion on the amendment? Jeff?
Makes sense.
Mr. Sweat, can you just clarify penultimate for our listening audience?
Forget about penultimate. The last paragraph is the issue, okay? And by deleting or administrator, what you're allowing is for a teacher in one school to be related to the administrator of another school. And while you would not want that teacher to be in the same school, that's covered under the next to last paragraph, which talks about supervision and evaluation of employees. So for that reason, I think we can eliminate the two words or administrator in the final paragraph.
Mr. Sweat, are you also adding the word be in the next to the last paragraph? Out of your amendment?
I don't really like to get into language issues,
okay.
but yes, I think we need the word be to be inserted in
So
between.
Out of your amendment?
Yeah, if the author doesn't mind.
Okay.
So on the second line of the next to last paragraph, administrator be responsible, and then the third line, evaluation of an employee being directly related to him or her. I think Michelle followed me at least. You got it? Thank you.
Dr. Ravidaj, I would ask you if the deletion, I mean, I don't think that we have to go back to the policy review committee with, language changes, but with the or administrator, whether that does need to go back to the policy review to discuss.
No.
I don't believe so, because
We're the policy makers.
this is the policy
Okay.
board.
But I understand your concern, and if this was discussed and specifically inserted...
It wasn't.
It wasn't specifically inserted.
No, it was
But
part of the boilerplate, I think.
Right,
Okay.
there was no discussion one way or the other.
Okay, okay.
Any further discussion on the amendment?
I know that we're the policy group, but I wouldn't want to assume that the policy review committee, that there would be members on there that would have an issue with an employee being related to an administrator at any one of the schools. I don't think that they would, but I just want to put that out there, being the first time on the policy review committee, whether we think that down the line that would be an issue if we didn't bring it back.
Anything else?
I wasn't at the meeting, I can't speak to it.
Okay, that's why I'm asking anybody that has been at the policy review before.
I had a conversation with one of the members of the policy review committee, who is an assistant principal at a particular school. And there was another assistant principal at a school who was having some difficulty with this language, because there is a niece who's graduated as a teacher, and basically this language says that that person cannot apply in this district. And the person called me to say, is there anything we can do about it? So I'm in favor of the amendment made by Mr. Sweat, because it does allow us to find the best people.
Yes, I do think it's the right thing. It's only a procedure question, not whether it should happen or not. Okay, if that, I'm comfortable with the vote going forward then.
I do, Mr. Chairman, just one final comment. I do think that it's worth going back to them the next time you meet, make sure they understand the change that was made.
Absolutely.
And if for any reason,
Come back to us.
they can always come back.
All right, so the vote is on the motion, the amendment, excuse me. And the amendment, Michelle, can you kind of paraphrase it for us? I know it's in the third, next to the last paragraph, to insert the word "be" between administrative and responsible, is that correct?
Right. And then further down, being directly related to him or her.
All right,
And then the...
being, right. And then in the last paragraph, to scratch or administrator. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor of the amendment, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? I'll abstain. So it would be 4-0-1. So now the main motion is as amended, to accept this policy as amended, the staff ethics and conflict interest. Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll abstain, so it was 4-0-1. Okay, who's next?
Which ones do you want to do that? Crisis response. The crisis response, the only change was to add a reference to the emergency protocols flip chart, which was reviewed and approved by the group.
So at the end, number 3, that's what's been added. Besides that, it's the same.
I must confess, maybe I'm in an ornery mood or something, but the second sentence, I find the amount of specificity to be unnecessary, and
Excuse me.
and I'm also to me, it says, for those of you who don't have it in front of you, it says crisis situations are defined as violent acts or emergencies causing serious injuries or actual attempted or threatened suicide and sudden death situations. To me, a crisis can be one that threatens serious injuries. It doesn't actually have to have caused it. So it seems to me there's too much specificity, and at the very least, we should indicate that the violent acts or emergencies may cause or have caused something that broadens it to a greater extent than it is, because I don't think all that specificity actually helps. In fact, I think it narrows it to too great an extent.
So are you offering an amendment to add crisis situations may be defined as?
Crisis situations are defined as emergencies which may cause or are causing, I guess I would put may cause or in between emergencies and the word causing. I'm doing this on the fly, but if that, Michelle, does that make sense the way I've amended it?
Say it one more time.
Crisis situations are defined as violent acts or emergencies. The new words which would be,
Cause or causing.
which may cause or are, and then continue.
So would you suggest that may after emergencies, Jeff?
I'm not married to my language. I just think we need to broaden it somewhat because it's too specific.
Which may cause or are causing.
That's fine.
That's what he says.
Okay.
Threaten or cause. Threaten to or cause serious injuries.
Perhaps do you want Michelle to read it as?
So that's my amendment, and Michelle, would you read it back for the sake of...
Well, hold it.
I'm sorry.
Wait a second.
Second.
All right, go ahead.
One taken.
Crisis situations are defined as violent acts or emergencies which may cause or are causing serious injuries or actual attempted or threatened suicide and sudden death situations.
I have more discussion on the amendment. My only problem with the amendment is, and I don't know how to correct it, so, to be honest with you, I didn't give it much thought until you just brought it up, Jeff. But the more you define things, the more you leave yourself open for a situation that's not definable.
I completely agree. I don't even like the sentences I've amended it, but at least I think I've improved it to be broader.
I just think that whenever you get into this degree of specificity, it's sure and heck that something's going to happen that's not covered under this definition.
Agreed.
I mean...
My real preference is to send it back.
Just wait till you get to the health ones.
Yeah.
What about dropping the last, that sentence? In other words, what happened, the history of this policy?
Do we have to define it? I mean, if you stop at the end of that first sentence, do you really have to go any further than that?
Right, exactly, because then, it says that we're going to have a crisis response, and then down below, we have the procedures that are in those flip charts and so forth that covers all manner of things.
Fine with me. Delete.
Delete the last sentence.
I'll consider that a friendly amendment.
Well, we have to vote on this amendment first, on your amendment.
I'm withdrawing it.
You're withdrawing it? Do I get the second withdrawn?
Second.
Okay. So, go ahead, you want to just throw it out?
My new amendment is to simply delete the second sentence.
So we're going to have a policy of one sentence.
Brevity is the soul of wit.
I guess.
I mean, it covers it.
We've got lots of
The
procedures.
school department will respond to crisis situations in a manner that ensures optimum safety for students and staff members.